Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Kimmie with her movie, Mildred for a Million. Let's take a look at the clip.
Hi, Gigi.
Hi, Miss Stella.
Good luck getting her attention without 1 million followers on TikTok.
How would I go about getting 1 million followers on TikTok?
Sex tape?
I can do that.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Kimmie, firstly, welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family.
Thank you.
We're so happy to have you. Your film was such a hit last night. It was amazing. For those that haven't seen it, tell us a little about the story.
Sure. So it's called Mildred for a Million, and it is about Mildred, a great-grandmother who is so excited for her family to come visit. She's telling everyone who will listen. She's pulling out all the stops, the fine china, ironing napkins. But when they come, it's a real letdown because her granddaughter's distracted with work emails, and her little great-granddaughter, Stella, who she was so excited to see, is buried in her tablet. So Mildred's really disappointed, and when they leave, the granddaughter makes, an offhand comment, and she's like, yeah, good luck getting her attention without 1 million followers on TikTok. So the very next day, Mildred sets out to break the internet because she desperately wants to connect with little Stella. So she's like, okay, TikTok's the way to do that, let's go. So she tries all these different things to get famous on TikTok with the help of her physical therapist. And yeah, it's a fun ride, but also poignant and a love story between generations.
Kimmie, it's a brilliant story. Like, I literally, when you're watching something unravel in a short film and you're already just encapsulated by the character, the direction, the story, the characters, I was in it from the get-go, and as we heard from everyone last night who just couldn't stop talking about your film, they were just so in it, and but just resonated with so many people last night. Where did this idea come about, Kimmie? How did this idea in your mind develop into a film?
First of all, that just means so much. It's so nice when I love to make people feel something, think a little, and hopefully laugh a lot. And so
all of that.
Hopefully it did that. Yeah, I heard the laughter, so that was great. So it was inspired by my real life grandma, Mildred. She's still alive and she's about to turn 94. She lives in Houston, Texas. And I have a 4 and a 6-year-old. And when we go visit, it's great. I love getting that time, but there are a few times that I've caught myself just checking my email on my phone or, just being out of the moment, and just the pace that she moves at versus the pace of life we move at now is just really struck me. So I thought that was an interesting juxtaposition, is just kids now are growing up so fast, and Mildred was born the year the FM radio was invented, if you can imagine. And now satellites are talking to our phones in our pockets.
It's crazy.
It's mind-blowing. I can't imagine being her, I can't imagine being in her position, having seen technology increase that way and the world change as it has. And so I just was kind of stewing on that and just wrote the thing. I was like, what if she tried to connect via social media? I also am not a big fan of social media personally. It gives me a little anxiety. I'm trying to be more present myself, and I always feel like I have 40 tabs open in my head at all times.
Yeah.
It's just so much information we're being pummeled with all the time. So it was just a reflection on that. And it was also in honor of my grandmother. So I used her recipe cards in the film. That was her tablecloth, that in the napkins she was ironing, her Jell-O recipe that we recreated. It's a love letter and a little bit of a commentary on how we're all distracted by technology and got to get back to being present.
Oh, I mean, I think that there's multiple layers and levels of why people, resonate with this particular story as well. And firstly, what a wonderful legacy and ode to your grandmother as well that you made and created. And I think one of the things that was really actually hard to watch was just thinking about exactly that. Like FM radio was invented in that, you know, opening time, and you think of all the advancements we've made in technology and how mind-blowing that must be to someone who's almost 94 years old. Like, how do you get your head around like understanding what is going on with TikTok and all of these things, right? It's mesmerizing.
Right, and the generation before that, I think they went from like horse and buggy to people landing on the moon.
Yeah,
So
no, absolutely.
I can't, nobody, they're the only generations that are gonna have seen that, because it's
Yeah.
like the rise, you know, it's like the wheel and then like, you know, and then just takes off like crazy the past 100 years. So
Yeah.
it's scary, but I think there's also the message is that what we all crave is human connection. And so
Yes.
even with the social media, even though it might not be the best form of human connection, I think that's what a lot of people are looking for with it, you know?
Yeah, connection.
yeah.
You know? But the human connection, I think the wonderful thing, even just being together in a room last night, seeing your film on a big screen, we needed to connect together as an audience to feel the energy of the film and what it was resonating with. And we'll get deeper into kind of the hows and the whys, but I want to just, you know, center around Mildred, your leading star, who, I mean, we all fell in love with her. Like, we all fell in love with this character, what was created, but how did it go about for you in the casting? Because my goodness me, what a treat, a joy for us you gave with this story with her.
Well, I grew up watching Miss Marla Gibbs, the legendary Marla Gibbs on television when I was younger. She was the star of The Jeffersons. She played Florence, the sassy maid in The Jeffersons, and then she was Mary Jenkins on 227. So when I wrote the story, I honestly started by just like Googling actresses in their 90s.
Yeah.
Because it was really important for me I didn't want to age anybody up. I really wanted it to be authentic. And my grandma's so frail and sweet, and I really wanted that authenticity. And so Marla came up, and there's this article about her in People magazine, and she's like, I'm still working. I'm still out there. And so our casting director, Miriam Hoffman and Candace Bernstein, they're fantastic. They reached out to her. They're like, that's a great idea. Like, and so she read the script via her agent, and I think on the first round she wasn't sure, and she actually had to talk to her daughter Angela a little bit, and Angela had to explain TikTok and things like that.
Yeah, authentically, yeah.
And so she's like, read it again. And she loved it. And she's like, let's meet. So we met at a Vaughn's that we ended up shooting at.
I love it.
Marla's neighborhood Vaughn's.
Oh, that was the neighborhood Barnes.
Yep.
There we go.
So we met
Amazing.
for our first little coffee meeting, and we talked for like 2 hours, and I just got to know her and her whole history. I told her about my grandma. You know, I made sure, I said, does this ring true to you? Are there any, you know, lines or traditions or things that feel false? And she said, you know, no, she loved it. She did make a couple things her own in the monologue toward the end. That was great. So she added a couple little ad libs in there. And then a month or two later, she shows up at the table read off book, including her 2-page monologue at 93 years old. She's the most
Wow.
professional, wonderful actress I've ever met, and not to
Wow.
mention just like a light and just a beautiful person. Like everyone was, once she came to set that first day, everyone was just like, we're in the presence of something really special. And we just felt like this is really special. And we actually added a day of shooting just because, well, we didn't, for safety reasons, I guess.
Yeah.
We were like, this is a breakneck pace for people that are 50 years younger. Like,
Yes, I think what was really, you know, special as well is also how wonderful it is that someone that you've watched on TV growing up,
Oh
right?
my
And then
God.
all of a sudden they're on your film set. How does that feel? Like, how was that experience?
it was surreal a bit
Yeah.
to begin with.
Yeah,
But since I had that just real conversation, sit down with her, got to know her, I was really put at ease. You know, I
Yeah.
was so glad that she was just such an authentic, genuine person, because I feel like if, you know, some celebrities you might feel like you have to handle with kid gloves and just, you know, she was eager to be part of the team and just be a team player and just give it her all. She wasn't she didn't expect special treatment. Of course, we gave her
Yeah.
as much special treatment as our budget would allow.
As you would, yeah.
But it was just nice how down to earth she was, and just
she
just
had
a
you. She was in
lovely,
good hands, you know.
lovely woman. So
Yeah.
it was really exciting to be able to, work with somebody I've seen on TV all my life. It's pretty crazy.
I mean, it really, I always think it's, thank you for taking something that was like really came from a very, genuine personal place from your own relationship, really wonderfully written and exquisitely directed. And how was this journey for you as a director, like directing this piece, especially when it's, coming from a sort of personal experience? How was that experience? How do you work with your actors? Like, what is that experience for you like?
Sure. I'd be remiss not to mention that the only actor I wrote a part specifically for was the physical therapist, Julian Ashley Mitchell. He's been a friend for like 20 years now.
I love it.
And so that was really fun, writing something just specifically in his voice. He was the first person before I had Marla or anyone else. I was like, I know it's going to be him.
Yeah.
I have so much fun just riffing with the actors on like what their backstory is of their character, even if the character's, just a couple of lines. I'm just kind of like, what's your story? Why are you working in this grocery store? Like, what's the deal? And like with Pete, the cashier, we're like, you're living in your mom's basement right now, but you just got a promotion, so things are looking up, and and you were supposed to have your lunch break by now, but like now all these extra people are in your line, and Mildred's taking forever, and she whips out her checkbook, so we're just like creating the moment before and just, who they are as a person. And we had the same really fun thing with the mail carrier, Haley Keown. I'm going to say her name wrong, Keown. In the script, I had written that character is like an alternative, pink-haired, septum pierced, something or other. And so when I got all these audition tapes, I was blown away, like everyone's interpretation of that. Like, there was maybe one or two that actually like had a pink wig on or did whatever, or had a septum piercing, but everybody did kind of a different take on it. And she had these like dreadlocks with feathers and just like blue eyeshadow. And it was so specific, this character. And then I looked at her reel, and she's played like these like executives and just all of these like very conservative roles. And I'm like, she is a total chameleon. I freaking love this. So anyway, we had just a great time collaborating. I think I even like shifted some of the lines for her. She did some ad-libbing. Like, I'm always flexible too. If something feels more authentic than I wrote it, hell yeah, let's go with that. 1,000%. So I think the backstory of her character was she had got busted selling mushrooms with a bad news boyfriend. And so she's like having to rebuild her life, and she's trying to just get on a routine and be a mail carrier for a little bit and go like legit and clean and all of that.
these are really like, because you had such a great ensemble, and you left us with characters that we wanted to know more about, and that's because you gave them a really decent backstory, and it makes a difference. You can see that. I think you could hear
one more.
Oh,
hold
on.
To Julian,
Please.
just because my friend Julian Ashley Mitchell, he's so incredibly talented, and he had to move away from LA a few years ago to help with a family issue. But he's the physical therapist, and he just brought so much. Like I said, I wrote it in his voice, but like when we were planning his character, he's like, I think I wear pearls to work, And I was like, I think you do. And so. I don't know. There was just like, it's really fun just to get specific and.
Yeah, I mean, you had a really fantastic group of people that you could just play with, and I think you gave what was so nice. You gave the actors to go deep in their character, but also to play and to enjoy the process of what they developed, what you developed together, which is such a great thing as an actor to have that freedom with their director.
It's really fun.
I think last night was just You encapsulated it with your answer with this, but you could hear a pin drop after your answer. And I think your film, it sits with you. You can't forget your film. You can't help but self-reflect. You can't help but look at your own experiences. You can't help but remind of the importance of showing love for the people that we love in our lives and everything else. And so it leads me to kind of continue to say as well, like, what did you want your audience, what were you hoping that your audience would take away from the film?
So I would love everyone, after seeing the film, to either call their grandma or remember her fondly.
Yeah.
Is probably the number one thing. And then the second thing is try to put down your phone a little more often, and just be conscious of it. I do it all the time. I'm constantly like, oh,
yeah.
Did I get any? It's like we want these little dopamine hits. I
Yeah.
feel like,
Yeah, absolutely.
But just to, slow down, remember that life's not a race, even though it feels like it a lot of times these days. It's just like, the more we think we save time on all these devices and with all this technology, it feels like the busier we are, and the more, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of lessons we can learn from that, and to show our love, whether it be presently or above, and just to be in the moment, stay in the moment. And I know that film, people were talking about it all over the festival last night because it really resonated with a lot of people, and that's all you can ask for as a filmmaker, isn't
Absolutely.
it? So,
no, it's just like, every screening I've had, I've been really touched by the response. And my grandma's going to get to see it again soon. She got to see it for the first time over the holidays. We actually did a screening in Houston, just a private screening, just in her honor, really. And so, but yeah,
so now you get to take to a festival. That's
amazing. World
Fantastic.
Fest. This has been such a great festival. Oh my God, I cannot say enough good things about NFMLA. Like, I'm blown away by the quality of films that you guys have put out there. I was so proud to be standing with all those other filmmakers last night, and I didn't know about it, and I'm going to tell everybody about it. It's like really fantastic. And all the opportunities you guys gave us this week leading up to this are just amazing.
Well, welcome to the family. We'll never let you go. We'll be forever celebrating you, just like your grandmother for our grandchildren. That's kind of how we roll. But no, we're really proud of you, and we're proud of this film. And it's so nice to see a film that is touching so many people in so many different ways, and that's the beauty of filmmaking and why you made this story and the great legacy you're leaving for your own grandmother. What is next? Where are you taking us next? Where are we going? I know you're on the festival run, but where are we heading?
Yeah, so we just started festival. I think this is only our second festival. We've had some other screenings that were like I said, for my grandma. This is only the second festival. We have 3 more coming up in the next 2 months, and then we find out about a whole bunch. But I've been told by lots of people that this should be a feature. And so as much as I kind of want to move on to the next thing, I do have it developed where, because the TikTok sequence actually goes pretty quickly.
Yeah.
All of the things that she does to try to get famous on TikTok, the singing, the dancing, the cooking, playing video games, all of those things are just in a montage right now.
Yeah.
But those could each be sequences in the real movie where she tries a week of this, tries a week of
Yeah.
that. And then I would also love her daughter Karen to come back from her cruise and get involved. We didn't meet that other generation. And I think it would be fun if she got on some other apps and she tried online dating maybe.
Yeah.
She's a widow, so maybe she gets out in the dating world. And then I think that it would be interesting to take her arc like a lot of us may have had with social media, where at some point she lets the comments and all the things get to her and maybe goes through, a dark moment where she's losing followers and feels isolated, not in touch. And maybe she gets, feels less present with people at some point. So I think there's a lot that can happen with that journey, Mildred's journey. So I have, an outline for that. If anybody is interested and wants to develop that into a feature, let's go.
Yeah.
And then I have several other projects in development as well. I have, lots of other scripts. I have some terrible scripts because I've been writing for a long time, but I have some really good ones that I've written in the last 5 years.
We're ready for them. We're ready for them all. But it's so nice. I don't think we're done with what you developed here with Mildred for a Million. I mean, I'm so glad to hear that, because I think you gave us this world, and now we're not ready to let it go. So the idea of feature is super, super exciting. But listen, we're so proud of you. Welcome to New Filmmakers LA. Thank you for Mildred for a Million. We're the best in your festival run. Wishing the best for your actual grandmother, Mildred, as well. And thank you so much for bringing your film to us. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Kimmie. You're awesome.
Thank you, Kimmie, everybody.